enfin plutôt bonsoir, et bienvenue sur mon live que je fais sur YouTube. Alors, je viens de terminer MGS2, et comme promis, ben, je vais streamer MGS3. J'ai pas eu le temps encore d'uploader toutes les vidéos sur MGS2, mais vous inquiétez pas, ce sera fait d'ici dans 2-3 jours, vous aurez l'intégrale. Là, je vais vous proposer un premier live sur MGS3 Snake Eater. J'espère qu'il vous plaira. Et je vous dis à tout de suite. Voilà. Alors, version européenne, hein, on va jouer. En français, évidemment. Et on commence le jeu. Excusez-moi. Et voilà. Donc là, on a l'écran titre. Alors, pas d'intro pour le moment. Vous allez comprendre pourquoi. On va de suite être mis dans l'action, là. Mais je vous laisse avec la cinématique d'intro quand même. Parce que ça, franchement, ça fait plaisir. Alors, on va aller dans les spéciales pour le moment. Je veux voir un truc. Action de base, non, on n'a pas. Bah écoute, nouvelle partie. Excusez-moi. Et j'aime MGS3. Et on va jouer en normal, hein, comme d'habitude. Et c'est parti.
After the end of World War II, the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
20 minutes to drop off.
Commencing internal depressurization. Equipment check. Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cav okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
Cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
Alors je vous conseille de mettre le casque pour les oreilles.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout model.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Spread your wings
and fly. God be with you.
Jack, I've got some important news.
Ça, c'est de l'intro, mon gars.
Head of the CIA has finally given us the green
Putain.
light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission?
No, the virtuous mission. The future of our Fox unit depends on it. If it succeeds, we'll be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission? Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
You know, don't get cocky. This isn't a training op.
Right. So what exactly is this wonderful mission?
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles. His name is Nikolai Stepanovich Sokolov. He's head of the OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top-secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov? Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
The very same. On April the 12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the
Alors,
first
j'essaye de
manned
pas trop
space
parler, hein, parce que y a beaucoup de choses à
Was blue, but there was no
intégrer pendant ce briefing. Hein.
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin to orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket. After Gagarin's flight, Sokolov left rocket development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of a design bureau, that's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid?
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the West. We used a mole to get the family out first and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards. I was the one who conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
Exact.
October the 16th, 1962, President Kennedy received word that the Soviets were in the process of deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces...
Honnêtement, j'aurais pas voulu vivre dans cette période-là. Hein. Vivre sous la pression nucléaire sans arrêt.
Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba. And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust.
Ouais.
But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians. The Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov.
Oula.
They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea. We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice. President Kennedy gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handing him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight. Then a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision.
Ouais.
What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it out.
Is Sokolov still in the facility?
No. According to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance. Sokolov must have known that too when he contacted us.
Voilà l'objectif de la mission vertueuse. Hein. Bon,
Listen up, Jack. Your mission is to infiltrate Selino-Yarsk in the Soviet mountains, ensure the safety of Sokolov, and bring him back to the west.
Cette vue, elle est magnifique.
If we don't get Sokolov back before that weapon is complete, we'll be facing a major crisis. The clock is ticking. Once we've confirmed the rescue of Sokolov, stand by at the recovery point. A recovery balloon will be dropped at that point. Helium will be pumped into the balloon to inflate it. The process takes about 20 minutes. Once it's complete, the gunship's arm will latch onto the balloon and pull it up.
The Fulton surface-to-air recovery system. I'm familiar with the theory.
Take it easy. It's been combat-proven.
Do you think Sokolov is up to it?
The shock will be less than during a parachute jump, and the arm can handle up to 500 pounds.
So you're planning on going over the border in a single combat talon?
She's equipped with 2 6-barrel 20mm Vulcan cannons, as well as 2 40mm machine guns.
Sounds like she could hold her own against a battalion of tanks.
Even with the fuel in the reserve tank, we're facing a 4-hour time limit. If all goes well, it shouldn't take more than a few hours.
Home in time for dinner.
But if anything goes wrong,
You'll be eating dinner, breakfast,
and all the rest of your meals in the jungle.
Bon. Eh ben, ça avance bien cette histoire. Hein. Bon.
Do you copy? You're already in enemy territory, and somebody might be listening in.
Alors là, on va rentrer dans une autre ambiance que dans MGS2, hein, je vous le garantis. Hein. Véritablement. Hein.
Your codename for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
What, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant, but...
Be careful, you might not have a choice.
What about you, Major? What should I call you?
Let's see. I'll be Tom. Call me Major Tom. This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy. You must leave no trace of your presence. Is that clear? This kind of infiltration is the Fox unit's speciality. In other words, weapons and equipment are procured on site. That goes for food as well. You're completely naked, just as your name implies.
Great. Now I see why you asked me if I like snakes. I suppose calling me Snake was your idea of a joke, too.
No. There's a good reason for that. I'll tell you later when the time is right.
Tu m'étonnes.
Getting back to the subject, how exactly am I supposed to feed myself?
You've been issued a knife and a tranquilizer gun. Use them to hunt for food. You'll also find some medical supplies in your backpack.
Yeah, about the backpack. I lost it in a tree on the way down.
I see. Well, you'd better go back and get it then. You know where it is?
No problem. I can see it from here. It's stuck on a branch.
To climb a tree, stand in front of a tree that's covered in ivy and press the action button. I'll be monitoring your progress over the radio. We can't risk violating Soviet airspace, but I'll be in the gunship. My frequency
on peut changer pas mal de choses, là.
0.85. I'll give you a call if I need to talk to you. If you need to talk to me, use the send function. Okay, Snake, go get your backpack.
Allez, c'est parti. Alors. Ouais. Donc là, ils nous ont mis la caméra direct comme ça. Donc en caméra libre. Après, on peut jouer comme d'habitude, comme dans MGS2. Mais vous voyez, ça se passe pas très bien. Il vaut mieux jouer en caméra comme ceci. Dans MGS3. De toute façon, ça c'est... ils ont fait comme avec MGS2. Ils ont pris la version complète. Donc la version... comment ils appellent celle-là? Subsistance. Qui est plutôt pas mal en fait, qui est plutôt complète. En même temps, c'est normal. Hein. Mais elle offre beaucoup plus de fonctionnalités que dans la version normale. Bon, je vais récupérer mon sac à dos. On a vu un peu les contrôles. Hop là, on récupère la médecine de vie. Et voilà. Donc ouais, je disais, c'est une ambiance totalement différente que dans MGS2, puisque là on est déjà de retour en arrière, on est dans la période guerre froide, et en plus on a une carte celui qui va devenir Big Boss. Donc le grand méchant qui jusque-là était le grand méchant de l'histoire. Là on va l'incarner durant cette mission, et vous allez voir, c'est une mission qui est magnifique. Je me souviens encore du jeu par cœur, hein. Là il n'y a pas d'hésitation ni quoi que ce soit comme dans MGS2. Allez, là maintenant c'est parti pour une longue session de codec qui vont nous présenter un peu tous les personnages.
I see you've retrieved your backpack, Snake. To equip a weapon, it's necessary to take it out of your backpack. In the survival viewer, choose Weapon from the backpack. Your available weapons will be displayed in a window in the upper left. From that list, choose the weapon you want to equip and press the Enter button. For other equipped items, just do the same thing from Item.
Got it. Use the survival viewer backpack.
Yep, that's right. Survival is fundamental to this mission. After you've been out in the field for a while, your stamina will start to drop. If your stamina gets too low, it'll affect your performance. You won't be able to shoot accurately, for example, and your wounds won't heal as smoothly. Keep an eye on your stamina so you don't run out. To recover lost stamina, you can hunt for local flora and fauna. You can use either your tranquilizer gun or your knife to hunt.
My only weapon is a Mark 22 Hush Puppy tranquilizer gun?
That's right. It's been fitted with its own suppressor. However, the suppressor will deteriorate every time you fire.
Voilà. Ça y est,
Once
ça
its
commence.
durability reaches 0, the noise suppression effect will be gone. So don't get too trigger-happy with it. The suppressor's durability is shown in the icon. Any weapons and equipment beyond what you're carrying now, you'll have to find as you go.
I have to find my own weapons and equipment? Whose crazy idea was this anyway?
Solo covert actions are standard Fox operating procedure. You can't leave any traces of your presence. No weapons, equipment, footprints, sweat, or bodily waste. The same goes for bullets and cartridges, too. Your presence in enemy territory is already a violation of international conventions of warfare. There aren't supposed to be any American soldiers in Russia. It could spark an international incident. You can't let anyone see you. You can't let the enemy know you're there. This is a stealth mission. You're a ghost, Snake, in every sense of the word. And there'll be no rescue if you're captured. The military and US government will deny any involvement in the affair.
Then I'll just have to take care of myself, huh?
Ah bah ça oui.
I'm
Hein.
afraid so. You've been given a fake death pill for that purpose. SIS guidelines
Alors ça,
stipulate that soldiers on
je m'en suis
covert
jamais
ops
servi
like
de ce
this one
truc-là.
be issued a potassium cyanide capsule. Tape it to your body so you can take it when you need to.
How generous of you.
Use it if you're taken prisoner by the enemy. It'll send you into a state of false death for a short time.
Fooling them into thinking that I'm really dead. So, how do I come back to life?
Just take the revival pill.
You mean that thing they put in my tooth before the mission?
That's the one. But be careful. If you remain in a state of false death for too long, nothing will be able to bring you back. Remember that.
I'll keep it in mind. You said this was a solo mission, right?
Right.
I guess that means I can't count on any reinforcements.
Correct.
J'adore la
Mission
fiche des
rests
personnages qui est à côté là.
entirely in your hands.
A real one-man army.
Relax. There's a support team ready to back you up over the radio.
Who?
I'll introduce them to you. This time, survival is of utmost importance.
Allez,
First
la
member of the
présentation de
support
l'équipe
team will
maintenant.
be in charge of monitoring your physical condition, acting as a medic, so to speak, as well as recording your mission data. She's a member of Fox as well, and she's here on the gunship with me.
She.
Hello, Snake. I'm paramedic. Nice to meet you.
Paramedic.
As in a medic who comes in by parachute.
Aren't you going to tell me your real name?
Are you going to tell me yours, Mr. Snake?
My name, huh? It's John Doe.
And they call you Jack for short. You're a regular Captain Nemo.
A name means nothing on the battlefield. After a week, no one has a name. What's your name?
Jane Doe.
Very funny.
I wasn't joking, but I'll tell you my name only if you manage to make it back alive.
Oh bah bien sûr,
My
vas-y.
frequency is 145.73.
She's also in charge of recording your mission data. Whenever you want to save, send a message over the reserved save frequency, 140.96.
So saving lets me record my mission data.
That's right. It also records the state of your health.
Good to know.
There's one more person I want to introduce you to, Snake.
Huh?
Speaking of snakes,
Ah
you
là là.
remember the boss, don't you? A legendary soldier and your mentor. Actually, it was the boss that got the DCI's authorization in the first place.
Et là, on a la patronne.
She's going to be serving as Fox's mission advisor.
Boss is?
She also helped me plan this mission. She and I were at SAS together.
Jack, is that you?
Oh.
How many years has it been?
Boss?
That's right. It's me.
Oh.
Talk to me. Let me hear your voice.
It's been 5 years, 72 days, and 18 hours.
You've lost weight.
You can tell just by the sound of my voice.
Of course I can. I know all about you.
Really? Well, I don't know anything about you.
What's that supposed to mean?
Why'd you disappear on me all of a sudden?
I was on a top-secret mission. You didn't need me anymore.
But there were still so many things I wanted you to teach me.
No, I taught you everything you needed to know about fighting techniques. I taught you all I could. The rest you needed to learn on your own.
Techniques, sure. But what about how to think like a soldier?
How to think like a soldier? I can't teach you that. A soldier needs to be strong in spirit, body, and technique. And the only thing you can learn from someone else is technique. In fact, technique doesn't even matter. What's most important is spirit. Spirit and body are like two sides of a single coin. They're the same thing. I can't teach you how to think. You'll just have to figure it out for yourself. Listen to me, Jack. Just because soldiers are on the same side right now doesn't mean they always will be. Having personal feelings about your comrades is one of the worst sins you can commit. Politics determine who you face on the battlefield. And politics are a living thing. They change along with the times. Yesterday's good might be tomorrow's evil.
Is that why you abandoned me?
No, it had nothing to do with you. I already told you, Jack. I was on a top-secret mission. A soldier has to follow whatever orders he's given. It's not his place to question why. But you're looking for a reason to fight. You're a natural-born fighter, but you're not quite a soldier. A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. That's doubly true if he's a career soldier. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is.
I do whatever I have to get the job done. I don't think about politics.
That's not the same thing. Sooner or later, your conscience is going to bother you. In the end, you have to choose whether you're going to live as a soldier or just another man with a gun. There's a saying in the Orient, loyalty to the end. Do you know what it means?
Being patriotic.
It means devoting yourself to your country.
I follow the president and the top brass. I'm ready to die for them if necessary.
The president and the top brass won't be there forever. Once their terms are up, others will take their place.
I follow the will of the leader, no matter who's in charge.
People aren't the ones who dictate the missions.
Then who does?
The times. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
And that's the way a soldier's supposed to think?
The only thing we can believe in with absolute certainty is the mission, Jack.
All right, but do me a favor.
What is it?
Call me Snake.
Snake? Oh, right. Your code name is Snake. It suits you well.
That's right. The legendary unit that the boss put together during World War II was a snake. The Cobra unit, a group of heroes that brought the war to an end and saved the world. As long as you've got a legendary hero backing you up, you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Snake?
Yeah. I can't think of anyone else I'd rather have with me. Oh, and one more thing, boss.
Yes?
It's good to hear your voice again.
Same here. After all, who knows if either of us will make it out alive. Snake, you are always best at urban warfare and infiltrating buildings. But this is the jungle. Survival is going to be key. Those CQC techniques I taught you are sure to come in handy.
CQC? Close quarters combat, huh? I've been in the Green Berets for the past few years. I'm probably pretty rusty.
Not to worry. I'll be here to help you remember. After all, this is your first actual survival mission. I'll be supporting you over the radio.
Where are you, boss? Next to the Major?
The boss is communicating with us by radio from aboard a Permit-class submarine in the Arctic Ocean.
My frequency is 141.80. Call me if you need my advice on battle techniques.
Gotcha.
Your mission is to retrieve Dr. Sokolov. Dr. Sokolov is being held in an abandoned factory located to the north of your current position. Avoid heavy combat and don't let anyone see you. Don't forget that this is a stealth mission.
Et c'est parti.
Snake, try to remember some of the basics of CQC.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Alors, pas tout de suite. On va pas tout de suite parce que je vais me remémorer un peu les contrôles. Donc avec le joystick, on peut courir. Et avec... Ouais, là on rentre en mode track avec les flèches. Ok. Bah, il faut savoir qu'il y a pas mal de collectibles dans ce jeu, notamment des grenouilles. Donc c'est ce qu'on va récupérer. Alors, là, oups. Eh ben, pourquoi je peux pas ramper là? Je suis obligé de faire comme ça? Non, arrêtez les conneries. Bon, c'est pas grave. Là, on va récupérer la première grenouille, justement. Alors, on aura plus tard un espèce de tenue qui va nous permettre de les repérer. Voilà, elle est là, la grenouille. Alors, pour ceux qui la voient pas, je mets les jumelles. Ah, c'est ça, la grenouille. Alors, je vais essayer de l'avoir de face. Dommage, on peut pas l'avoir. Vous allez voir de toute manière à quoi elle ressemble plus tard. Donc là, ça va être une mission tuto, hein. Véritablement, donc il faut faire attention, hein, comme on vous a dit, les silencieux, ça se détériore, donc il faudra faire très attention à nos tirs. C'est pour ça qu'en général, il vaut mieux viser la tête. Allez, c'est parti. On change de zone et on continue la mission cette fois. Alors bien sûr, on peut récupérer des fruits qui sont sur les arbres, etc. Mais bon, pour la mission vertueuse, c'est pas trop la peine. Ce sera plus pour la suite du jeu. Vous allez voir, puisque le jeu en fait se divise en deux parties, lui aussi. Cette mission est la mission vertueuse est une sorte d'introduction en fait au jeu, pour vous montrer un peu l'environnement dans lequel on va devoir évoluer. Alors là, il faut passer par ce marais, mais il faut faire gaffe parce que c'est un marais sans fond. Et le problème, c'est que j'ai des crocos là qui sont en face, et moi je dois aller là-bas pour récupérer une grenouille justement. Donc c'est parti. Espérons que je vais pas me faire choper par leur queue. Voilà. Là on passe ici. Alors ils sont dociles, hein. Ils vous attaquent pas ni quoi que ce soit, donc ça va. Alors la grenouille, il me semble bien qu'elle est... Ah merde, elle est pas... Ah non, c'est dans l'autre mission. Pardon, désolé. Hop là, on va passer de l'autre côté. Alors... Et la grenouille, normalement, si elle est pas derrière l'arbre, elle doit être par là. Ouais, elle est là. Vous voyez là, on la voit de face en plus. Donc je vais vous la montrer. Voilà à quoi ça ressemble les kérotanes. Et ça, vous en avez tout le long du jeu. À chaque zone du jeu, vous en avez. Il y en a 64 en tout à récupérer. Alors, je vais faire un truc, je vais faire un peu de menüing, parce que dans le sac à dos, j'ai besoin de quasiment rien. Donc ça, on va l'enlever, ça on peut pas, ça on va le garder, les jumelles on va les garder, détecteur de mouvement, sonar actif et anti-personnel, ça on va les enlever. Le micro directionnel on va l'enlever, on va garder que le couteau de survie et le MK22. Là on voyage vraiment léger. Pourquoi? Parce qu'en fait on va vous expliquer, mais le truc c'est qu'en fait vous avez à chaque onglet vous avez un poids à côté en dessous de l'image là du truc. Là, par exemple, le micro directionnel, il pèse 1,5 kg. Et en fait, quand vous l'équipez, ce poids est pris en compte. Quand il est rangé dans le sac à dos que vous avez récupéré, il n'est pas pris en compte. Donc, c'est uniquement ce qui est équipé qui est pris en compte. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'il vaut mieux voyager très léger, en fait. Hein. Et ça, parce qu'en fait, plus vous voyagez léger, moins votre barre d'endurance. Donc, c'est ce qui est, là, vous voyez, là, en haut, vous avez Snake. En dessous, vous avez sa barre de vie et la grande barre qui est segmentée en quatre segments justement. Et ça, c'est notre barre d'endurance et c'est ça en fait qui est pris en compte. C'est cette barre qui est prise en compte lors de l'utilisation lors de l'équipement des objets en fait. Donc il faut faire très attention à ce qu'on porte pour ne pas trop s'épuiser puisqu'après on va devoir justement chasser etc. pour récupérer de l'endurance. Pas de la vie, de l'endurance.
Major, I've spotted 2 enemy soldiers.
They're probably KGB troops sent to guard Sokolov.
AK-47s and grenades.
Snake, your presence in Soviet territory is already a violation of international law. We can't let the Kremlin find out that the CIA and the American government are involved. Contact with the enemy is strictly prohibited. Don't engage them in battle either. This is a stealth mission. Got that?
The Major is right. The point of this mission is to sneak through the jungle without being seen. The success of the mission depends on how well you use your camouflage. Change your camouflage by selecting Camouflage from the Survival Viewer. The Uniform option lets you pick your uniform, while the Face option lets you change your face paint.
Là, on nous
Choosing
apprend un peu
camouflage
comment
that
fonctionne
blends
le
in with your
camouflage.
surroundings will help you conceal yourself more effectively. Also, don't forget that anything that moves will stand out in the jungle. If you just stand up and run around like an idiot, you're bound to be spotted. But if you crawl instead, you should be able to sneak by without being noticed. You can see how effective your camouflage is by looking at the camo index. The camo index shows how
Ouais.
well your current camouflage blends in with the surrounding area. The higher the value, the harder you are to spot, and vice versa. The key is to make yourself one with nature. Keep that in mind as you go along, okay?
Ouais. Ah oui, une chose importante, c'est que à partir de MGS3, en fait, bon, dans MGS4 on l'a encore, mais dans MGS3, on n'a plus de radar comparé à MGS2. Donc il faudra vérifier les ennemis à vue. Donc c'est à nous en fait de faire très attention à notre environnement. Alors, on va utiliser ce qu'ils nous ont dit, donc le camouflage. Donc là vous allez dans le camouflage, uniforme, on va se mettre en feuille. Vous voyez, vous avez, comment ça s'appelle? Vous avez tout ce qui est valeur en fait. Donc là vous avez plus 20, etc. Ça ce sont les valeurs qui sont ajoutées à votre camouflage. Bon, moi j'utilise le camouflage feuille en général parce que ça suffit très bien, vous allez comprendre. Pourquoi? Pour l'instant on est camouflé à 70, mais vous allez voir que quand on va rentrer dans les feuilles qui sont là, juste ici, ça va changer. Là pour l'instant il suffit juste d'être suffisamment planqué pour pouvoir shooter dans la tête du gars qui est là, qui arrive. Voilà, nickel. Regardez, et quand on change d'environnement, paf, là on passe à 90%. Alors il existe un camouflage qu'on récupérera beaucoup plus tard dans le jeu qui s'appelle camouflage mousse, qui lui peut nous offrir jusqu'à 100% du camouflage en milieu luxuriant, en milieu avec des herbes, etc. Très intéressant. Et il a une autre fonctionnalité, mais bon, on s'en sert très peu à vrai dire. Là c'est pareil, je vous parlais des fruits tout à l'heure, ça s'en est ça. Alors je vais les montrer. Ça, c'est des fruits qu'on peut récupérer. Pareil pour les petits animaux, etc. Tout est capturable, tout est mangeable. Enfin, certains trucs ne le sont pas, puisque vous risquez l'empoisonnement. Mais allez, on va dire 80% des choses qui vous entourent sont comestibles. Donc c'est très intéressant. Il faut faire attention parce que vous avez aussi des serpents venimeux, etc. qui peuvent vous attaquer pendant que vous rampez. Il faut faire très attention. Voilà. Alors là, par contre, contrairement aux deux, là par contre, on attaque les choses sérieuses. Hein. Véritablement, là je vais faire du sneaky à fond. Autant dans MGS2, j'avais qu'une seule hâte, c'était de terminer pour pouvoir commencer celui-là. Autant lui, je veux le savourer, hein. Je vous le dis. Hein. Et je vais vous montrer tout ce qui est découvrable, les easter eggs, les machins, les trucs, toutes les captures, je vais tout vous montrer. Alors, là je me dirige vers la deuxième la troisième kérotane. Attention à celui-là, là. Normalement, on a un troisième qui est par là, donc il faudra faire attention. Alors pour l'instant vous voyez marcher, mais parce qu'en fait le truc c'est que comme j'ai pas de radar, voilà, il est là-bas. Ça va, il est assez loin. Merde, je l'ai raté. Voilà, nickel. Et donc là c'est bon, il y en a que 3 normalement dans cette zone. Donc la troisième grenouille, elle est ici. Voilà. Alors je vais retourner en arrière parce que je sais plus si je l'ai enclenché ou pas la deuxième. Je sais plus si je vais tirer dessus. Donc j'ai vite fait retourner en arrière, je vais la shooter, je vais revenir. Alors ici vous avez une arme aussi là quand vous passez, quand vous arrivez dans cette, de toute façon je vais vous la montrer quand je vais retourner dans cette zone. Parce que là par contre c'est pareil que dans les autres jeux, c'est-à-dire que vous devez récupérer vos armements sur place. Alors, la kérotane, on sait qu'elle est là. Voilà. Au moins là on est sûr, donc ça fait 3 kérotanes. Normalement les autres ils doivent encore dormir, si je me trompe pas. Ouais, ils dorment encore, donc c'est bon. Alors ici on a un fusil sniper il me semble, le SVD. Il est par ici. Ah, sniper SVD, voilà. Alors ça c'est si vraiment vous êtes dans la merde et si vraiment vous commencez les Metal Gear et que vous voulez ne pas que vous voulez tuer quand même, parce que c'est toujours là par contre je vais faire du no kill absolu. Mais si vous voulez vous amuser et si vous voulez tuer, vous pouvez avec le fusil sniper. Faites gaffe par contre parce que vous avez pas de silencieux, donc il est assez bruyant. Donc faites attention quand même. Ah c'est pareil, le gars il dort encore. Et là normalement lui aussi il dort. Ok, bon bah c'est bon. Donc on passe à la quatrième zone. Alors là c'est un petit tips aussi. Donc là vous avez le gars qui est là. Bah ici vous shootez juste le... Comment ça s'appelle? Le nid de frelon. Tac. Et là vous allez voir que même les deux types là qui sont au fond, bien comme il est poursuivi par les frelons, tout le monde va s'en aller, même celui-là là-bas. Donc ce qui fait que là bah, j'ai plus de garde. Alors la kérotane, elle est là. Voilà. Alors ici on peut chuter, ici vous avez une branche en dessous là, vous pouvez vous raccrocher. Sinon vous avez aussi la possibilité de passer par ici. Et là vous récupérez une autre arme. Le XM 16E1 qui est une arme, je crois que c'est une arme à répétition, donc c'est un fusil, c'est un type mitrailleuse ou fusil d'assaut comme vous voulez. Voilà, faites gaffe quand même à ne pas tomber. Et là on va directement, voilà.
Major, I've reached the abandoned factory where Sokolov is supposedly.
Alors comme je l'ai dit, il n'y a pas d'octane à récupérer ni quoi que ce soit là dans ce jeu, donc là c'est vraiment...
can't see Sokolov from here. The security is pretty tight. There are sentries posted around the perimeter. I wonder how many are inside.
Là, le but, ça va être de faire du no-kill et de no-alerte. Hein.
Your objective, Sokolov, is inside the factory. They should be holding him in a room in the northeast section.
Northeast section. Got it.
Be careful. Your mission is to bring Sokolov back alive. He must not be exposed to any kind of danger. Do not approach Sokolov while in the alert phase.
Right.
Oh, and one more thing, Snake.
You mean there's more?
No, it's just that when you get to Sokolov, I want you to tell him something from me.
And that is?
Sorry for being so late.
Is that all?
Yes.
Understood. Beginning my approach to the target.
Alors cet épisode-là, c'est l'épisode que j'ai le plus poncé dans ma vie, hein, avec MGS5, mais non. MGS3, c'est celui que j'ai poncé pendant des années. Même quand MGS4 est sorti, je jouais encore au 3. Donc pour vous dire que je le connais sur le bout des doigts. Hein. Vous n'êtes pas obligé de tous les abattre. Voilà. Là, il suffit juste de longer le grillage. Avec un camouflage assez important. Ne descendez pas en dessous de 50. 70 c'est déjà très bien. Parce qu'en fait, le camouflage feuille est très important parce qu'en fait, il vous permet en fait d'être très polyvalent. Alors que si on commence à faire du surface par surface, en fait, le problème c'est qu'on n'en sort jamais. Donc il vaut mieux prendre un truc qui est assez polyvalent. Vous évitez le menuing toutes les 30 secondes. Il n'y a que de très rares cas où vous êtes obligé de changer de costume. Dans de l'eau, par exemple, des trucs comme ça. Là, vous êtes quasiment... Là, vous pouvez pas utiliser le costume tel quel. Vous êtes obligé de vous changer. Mais sinon, globalement, vous allez rester en feuille ou en tigré, quoi. Non, là, il n'y a rien. Alors, on peut faire peur à Sokolov. Hein. Voilà, en tapant sur le mur. Là, on va passer sur le toit. C'est un petit raccourci comme ça. Plutôt que se taper tout l'intérieur, etc. Là, on arrive directement devant Sokolov. Faut faire attention. Voilà. Et terminé. Et voilà donc Sokolov.
You must be Sokolov.
Are you one of Volgin's
Alors normalement, ils parlent en russe, hein, les deux là.
You'll never get it from me.
No. I'm a CIA agent. I've come to escort you back to the other side of the Iron Curtain.
You're CIA?
Yeah. I was sent by Major Zero, the man who got you out 2 years ago.
Zero?
I have a message from him.
What is it?
He said to tell you sorry for being so late.
Did he now?
What does it mean?
It means he's a man of his word. But we've got no time for this. You'll have to get me out of here before they arrive.
Et là, on voit encore l'amélioration par rapport au graphisme. Les expressions faciales sont beaucoup plus marquées. Encore une fois, on est sur PS2. Hein. Normalement.
Ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 years ago, Khrushchev has been pursuing a policy of peaceful coexistence with the West. Despite resistance and criticism from hawks in the army and the provincial authorities, Khrushchev has managed to suppress the opposition so far. But the failure of his agricultural policies has put him in a precarious position. And on top of that, the tragedy last November.
President Kennedy's assassination.
Precisely. In a sense, Khrushchev has lost his biggest partner, and his power base is rapidly crumbling away. A certain group is plotting to use this opportunity to seize power by rallying the anti-government forces, overthrowing Khrushchev, and installing Brezhnev and Kosygin in his place. The mastermind behind this plot is Colonel Volgin of the GRU. He has control over another secret weapons research facility much like this one, OKB-812, known as the Granin Design Bureau, and is using it to further his plans. But that is not enough to satisfy him. Now he's plotting to seize the secret weapon I have been developing here and use it as leverage in his bid for power.
Oh là là.
The intelligence says that they are going to make their move during the test.
Then, the soldiers outside.
Exactly. They wouldn't need that many men just to keep me inside. Their orders were to prevent Colonel Volgin from capturing me. Even if it meant killing me in the process, or so it would seem. Volgin will come. I'm sure of it. You must get me out of here before then.
Leave it to me.
By the way, your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?
From my mentor.
Oh la fierté.
Is that so? America is truly a frightening country.
Having second thoughts?
No. I have no love for this place. Let's go.
On sent que... Hein,
Major, this is Snake. Sokolov is safe.
il a de l'affect pour The
He's
Boss.
doing
Hein,
fine. No
parce que c'est
injuries.
le mentor en
Good
question.
work,
Hein.
Snake. Now hurry up and get Sokolov to the recovery point. We'll rendezvous with you there.
Roger.
What about the sentries?
No one spotted me.
I see.
What about the boss?
We lost contact with the boss some time ago.
What happened?
It's probably just a weak signal. Just hurry and get Sokolov out of there.
Putain, comme ça fait plaisir de rejouer à ce jeu. Qu'est-ce qu'il fout lui? Alors j'adore parce que nous on est super bien camouflés, enfin on a une camouflage, d'autres ils sortent en blouson noir en cuir et tout.
Freeze!
Oh oh.
So this is the legendary boss.
Huh?
Huh? We meet at last.
You!
You're from the Ocelot unit of Spetsnaz. What's a GRU soldier doing here?
Soldier?
He's the Ocelot commander.
That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Sokolov is ours. Now get out of here.
And Ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
Décidément, il n'a pas changé. Hein. Que ce soit au début ou à la fin, il tue les siens. Ouais, puis la précision, merci. Hein. Oups.
I can't say it feels good to kill a comrade, even if it is for the GRU.
Alors, il a pas son nom chez la Chaska encore, hein. Mais c'est bien Revolver Ocelot. Hein. Et comme je l'ai dit dans MGS2, il va se faire bolos pendant tout le jeu, ce gamin.
Huh. You're not the boss, are you?
Operatives?
What is that stance? Huh. That gun.
Ah, rigolez, rigolez.
You're not the boss. Then die.
Major! Leave it! Shoot the other one! Whoa!
Oula.
You ejected the first bullet by hand, didn't you? I see what you were trying to do. But testing a technique you've only heard about in the middle of battle wasn't very smart. You were asking to have your gun jam on you. Besides, I don't think you're cut out for an automatic in the first place. You tend to twist your elbow to absorb the recoil. That's more of a revolver technique.
Il lui donne une leçon.
You filthy American dog!
But that was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Faudrait mettre un compteur. Combien de fois il s'est bolé dans le jeu? Je sais plus combien de fois il s'est fait taper dessus, le pauvre Slot.
Major, do you read me?
I read you. Snake, you all right?
I've run into a few snags. These guys were after Sokolov too. Apparently they were taking orders from a GRU colonel named Volgan.
A GRU colonel?
Part of an internal Soviet power struggle, according to Sokolov. Something between the KGB and GRU. Between Khrushchev's supporters and Volgan's.
Sokolov was being guarded by the KGB and hunted by GRU?
Eh oui.
Snake, it sounds like this could be even hotter than Cuba.
I don't like it. Something about the whole thing stinks.
I agree. You'd better hurry.
Sokolov ran off by himself, but I'll catch up to him.
We're counting on you.
Alors je précise, hein, c'est le début de l'histoire. Hein, c'est vraiment le tout début, la genèse de tout ce qui va suivre dans tous les autres, dans tous les épisodes. Donc là on récupère le truc. Alors je récupère pas Sokolov tout de suite parce qu'en fait on a une kérotane aussi à shooter ici. Il faut pas l'oublier, on a des armes aussi à récupérer. Donc là j'ai récupéré le silencieux pour le X là. Et la grenouille, elle est là. Vous la voyez? Donc on la shoot. Et voilà, donc ça fait 5. Et là maintenant, bah, on peut... et là on a le M37. Et donc là on peut aller chercher Sokolov tranquillement. Alors tiens, on va se changer justement. On va se mettre en rire de tigre. Le visage, on va se mettre en éclat. Ça c'est juste pour l'esthétique de la cinématique à suivre, hein, c'est tout. Et voilà.
You okay?
Those men were from the Ocelot unit.
Spetsnaz?
Yes. The best GRU has to offer. They're coming for me. I'm finished!
Calm down. I'll get you out of here, I promise. And we've got some of the best backup we could ask for.
Oh.
Look.
That's what they were making you build.
Yes.
Ouais.
The Shagohod. The treading behemoth. A tank capable of launching nuclear IRBMs.
It can launch nuclear missiles from that kind of terrain.
Oh, yes. And without support from friendly units.
A nuclear-equipped tank capable of operating solo. Is that thing finished?
No. This is only the end of Phase 1. It won't be truly finished until we complete Phase 2.
Phase 2?
The weapon's true form. If it is completed and the Colonel gets his hands on it, it will mean the end of the Cold War.
The end of the Cold War?
Carrément.
Yes. And then the Age of Fear will truly begin.
A world war.
I had no choice but to cooperate. I didn't want to die. I wanted to see my wife and child again in America. Please, take me to America, quickly. They cannot complete it without my help.
Got it. Let's go.
J'ai hâte de voir la gueule du remake quand même. Hein. Le Metal Gear Delta, c'est ce jeu-là. Hein. Donc j'ai hâte de voir comment ils vont tourner ça. On va retourner sur sous Unreal 5, ce sera génial, quoi. The Boss.
Boss?
Good work, Jack.
What are you doing here?
Sokolov comes with me.
Hornets.
My friends, let us fight together again.
I have waited long for this day.
We will fight with you once more. Welcome back, boss.
Oh là
Now
là.
that all 5 of us are together, it's time we go to the depths of hell itself. It's raining blood. Is he crying?
Alors lui.
Kuwabara, Kuwabara. Ah, what a joyful scene.
Oh.
Colonel Vogan.
Welcome to my country. And to my unit.
Boss, what is this?
I'm defecting to the Soviet Union. Sokolov is a little gift from my new hosts.
Recoilless nuclear warheads. These will make a fine gift for me.
This can't be happening.
Who is he? Another one of your disciples? Are we taking him with us?
No, this one is still just a child. Too pure for us Cobras. He has not yet found an emotion to carry into battle.
What are you talking about?
Think you can pull the trigger?
Plus d'armes.
He's seen my face. can't let him live. If Khrushchev finds out about this, we're finished. He must die.
Wait. He's my apprentice. I'll take care of him.
Oula.
Jack, you can't come with us.
Ouf.
The new blood has been rejected.
No.
Are we done here?
Now, onto Sokolov's research facility.
Shagohod is ours.
Drift away. My place is with them now.
Snake, can you hear me?
Ouais.
Yeah. Just barely.
Snake, listen to me. You need emergency medical treatment. Can you move? You've got to get those wounds treated. Hang in there. All right, let's get you fixed up. Paramedic?
Okay, Snake. Just relax and it'll all be over before you know it. Stay with me. I've seen people in worse shape before. Think you can handle it?
Major. The boss. She's defected.
We'll talk about that later. First, we've got to get you patched up.
Okay, here we go. First, open the survival viewer with the start button. If you select cure, you can start the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Healing is divided into treatment using medicine with the item window button and surgical treatment using the weapon window button. Your injuries include a fractured left elbow and rib bone, and lacerations on your upper arms, right elbow, and abdomen. They need to be fixed using surgical treatment. Move the healing cursor with the left stick to the affected part of your body. Once you've selected the affected area, hold the weapon window button and use the left stick to select the medical item, and then press the enter button. With this method, you can use items to help your recovery process. To treat a bone fracture, first secure the affected area with a fastener and then wrap it in bandages. That should do it.
Ouais.
For lacerations, you'll need disinfectant to clean the wound, sutures to stitch it up, styptic to slow the flow of blood, and bandages to wrap the wound. If you do everything I mentioned, the wound should heal completely. Understood?
Yeah.
Stay with me. Go into the survival viewer and treat those wounds.
Allez, c'est parti. On ouvre le visualiseur. Donc, on souffre d'une coupure profonde. Alors, on nous a dit... D'abord le désinfecte. Ensuite, le nécessaire à suture. Le styptique. Et enfin, le pansement. Coupure profonde. Bon, ben... Hein. Coupure profonde. Os fracturé. Alors ça, c'est juste l'attelle et le pansement. Et enfin, coupure profonde. Voilà. Et l'os fracturé. Voilà. Ah ouais, ce moment il est hardcore. Oh, le bruit.
Good job, Snake.
We're coming to get you now. Just stay where you are. We'll drop a recovery balloon. Can you set it up?
Alors là, il y a un petit truc à fouiller. Il est là. Voilà. C'est parce que vous pouvez contrôler aussi la caméra. Hein.
Excellent. A great success. Thanks to the boss and her cobras, I have both Sokolov and the Shagohod.
What are we going to do with the girl?
Who is she?
Apparently she's Sokolov's woman.
Elle est pas aux États-Unis.
She's a nice catch. I'll take her. Not so fast, my dear. A kiss of death
You KGB.
We may be able to use her. She has spunk.
Shall we take her back to the base?
Perhaps we should. We have no further use for Sokolov's research facility. I think it's time I gave this marvelous new toy a try.
Oulala.
Colonel, even if they are our enemies, they're still our countrymen.
But it won't be me that pulled the trigger. It'll be our friend, the American defector.
You're going to nuke your fellow Russians?
Remember the Alamo.
Colonel!
Ouch. Là, normalement, on est censé être aveugle, hein. Je vous le dis tout de suite. Et voilà comment se finit la mission vertueuse. Un échec cuisant pour la première fois, enfin pour la première mission de l'unité Fox. C'est quand même pas rassurant l'histoire. Donc là, on a les bases. Donc là, on va continuer le jeu, hein, tout simplement. Là, je vais sauvegarder. Créer une nouvelle sauvegarde, évidemment. Et là, je vous laisse avec l'intro, la plus belle intro de tous les jeux Metal Gear jamais fait.
What a thrill, the darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. Searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time. Tree frog, it's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time.
Sorti en 2005 sur PS2, les gars. Juste ça. Une leçon.
Currently flying over the Arctic Ocean, altitude 30,000 feet, approaching Soviet airspace. Arriving at the designated drone launch point. Drone oil pressure and voltage are nominal. Payload oxygen supply is nominal. Power supply to payload antifreeze system shows no problems. No gusts. All systems go for drone detachment.
Snake, we can't risk a halo jump this time around. Airspace security has gotten tighter since we were last here. We can't get as close to the ground as we did during the Virtuous mission. So instead, we'll be using one of our newest weapons. Snake, you're being given an honor on par with Alan Shepard. This is our last chance. Show your patriotism. If you fail, you'll be back in a hospital bed again, waiting for the firing squad. So how does it feel to be a patient in one of the most advanced ICUs in the world?
Would you do me a favor and tell the suits about visiting hours? I'll never get better with them assaulting me day and night with their questions.
Must be part of the top brass's inquiry.
More like an interrogation. According to them, I'm a traitor and an accomplice to the boss's defection.
They're just looking for a scapegoat.
Does that mean they're after you, too?
Let's just say neither one of us is going to be made a national hero out of this.
Does this mean Fox is going to die?
No. This fox is still one step ahead of the hounds. The reason I came to see you today, Jack, it's time for Fox to clear its name.
What are you talking about?
The situation has changed. We still got a chance to come out of this one alive.
Yeah, what kind of chance?
Don't get too excited. Here, have a cigar. It's Cuban.
Oh.
This morning, I had a meeting with the CIA.
They decided when they're going to execute us?
No. Something even bigger.
Yesterday,
the White House received an unexpected call.
President Johnson? Yes, I hear you, Mr. Chairman.
It was a hotline call from Khrushchev to President Johnson.
From the head of the Soviet Union?
That's right.
A few days ago, one of our country's main design bureaus, OKB-754, was destroyed in a nuclear explosion. At about the same time, our anti-aircraft radar picked up a signature that appeared to come from one of your military aircraft. Does any of this sound familiar to you? In retaliation, I have placed our armed forces on secondary alert. Depending on your response, I may be left with no choice but to order the military to maximum alert and unleash Armageddon. With the help of your predecessor, I was able to survive the Cuban incident. But my power is not as great as it once was. If I am to survive this crisis, I must have your full cooperation.
I should have contacted you myself. Did you know that one of our soldiers defected to your country a week ago?
Uh-oh.
So you haven't heard that. The man who arranged the defection was a GRU colonel by the name of Yevgeny Borosovich Volgin.
Volgin? Of the Brezhnev faction. Go on. Who is the soldier?
Her name is the Boss. She's a living legend. During World War II, she was the one who led us to victory in that war. In Russia, you know her as Voyevoda.
You mean the Boss? The mother of your special forces?
Uh-huh. C'est bien elle.
That's the one. And she took 2 miniature nuclear shells along with her.
The Boss took 2 miniature nuclear shells.
I'm afraid so. I believe they were a gift for her new hosts. The Davy Crockett Atomic Battle Group delivery system was completed 2 years ago. Serious problems were found with the launcher's range and precision. Although they were mass-produced, they've never been deployed in battle.
But Sokolov's research facility was completely wiped out. The whole area is polluted.
I can only offer you my deepest condolences over this terrible tragedy.
Il faut savoir que le Davy Crockett existe vraiment.
The
Hein.
boss, with Colonel Volgin's help, stole 2
Dans la vraie vie.
experimental nuclear shells and took them with her as gift when she defected. Then, shortly thereafter, Sokolov's design lab, a top-secret military research facility, was destroyed by one of these weapons. Am I right so far?
Yes, that's correct.
And the American government denies any involvement in the affair. Is that right as well?
That's correct. We were not involved in any way.
Then what was a U.S. military aircraft doing on our radar screen? It was clearly in violation of our airspace. And yet you say it was not acting under your orders.
That's correct.
You expect me to believe that this was all the work of a single soldier?
I don't know what else to tell you.
The army insists that this is all a ploy on your part.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. Our government had nothing to do with it.
And I would like dearly to believe you. However, I'm afraid my power over the military has weakened since the Cuban incident. I will need some kind of proof that this was not the action of the American government.
Uh-oh.
You have 1 week. You must catch the boss yourselves and recover the remaining nuclear device. Then, you must find some way to prove your innocence.
Prove our innocence?
Yes, preferably something painful. Prove to me that this is not merely another one of your tricks.
The boss should be close to Colonel Volgin. How about a little co-action?
I would not expect too much if I were you. The political situation here is unstable. And Colonel Volgin is a member of the Brezhnev faction, which seeks to topple my government. 1 week. You have only 1 week. And if it is not too much to ask, do something about Volgin as well.
Ah bah
What
bien
is that
sûr.
supposed to mean?
Nothing. Means nothing. Call it a modest gentleman's agreement to ensure our continued relationship.
What if we can't prove our innocence?
Then I will be unable to restrain the military. I will be ousted, and they will seek their revenge.
A nuclear attack on the United States?
I leave the disposal of this situation entirely to your discretion, Mr.
Bien sûr, bah oui.
Disposal.
If you fail, it will mean the beginning of a new world war.
To put it simply, in order to avoid a full-scale nuclear conflict, we have to prove that America was not involved in that explosion.
And eliminating the boss ourselves will prove America's innocence?
Right. The higher-ups have decided that you're the only one capable of pulling this off.
Bah bien sûr.
You were her last apprentice. Screw this one up, and we'll both be 6 feet under. There's no choice.
Are the Russians going to be helping us?
The KGB has promised to lend us one of their communications satellites so that you and I can talk to each other.
That's it?
They've also put us in touch with a couple of insiders.
Insiders?
There was a defection in September 1960. Do you remember it?
You mean the 2 NSA codebreakers who went over to the Soviet Union?
Precisely. Since then, they've apparently been training with the KGB for exactly this kind of situation. Their code names are Adam and Eva. I've been told that Adam has infiltrated Volgin's ranks. We've also arranged for him to provide you with an escape route. You'll need to rendezvous with him when you get there.
Control. Unidentified aircraft detected. Altitude 30,000 feet. It's fast.
Les MiG.
Estimated airspeed exceeding Mach 3. Bearing south. I'm about to lose it.
Oh, la musique dans ce jeu, elle est... Y a rien à dire. Alors cette fois, on n'a pas perdu notre sac à dos. Et on arrive en pleine nuit.
This is Snake. Do you read me?
Loud and clear. Glad to see you landed safely.
I got blown pretty far off target.
Snake, let's go over your mission objectives one more time.
Alors, on va nous présenter
Rescue
l'équipe.
Sokolov. Find out what's happened to the Shagohod, then destroy it. And finally, eliminate the boss.
Eliminate the boss.
This mission will be codenamed Operation Snake Eater.
Because I'll be taking on the boss in our Cobra unit, right?
Don't forget about Colonel Volgin.
I'm not a hired
voilà.
killer.
I know, but that was the Kremlin's demand.
Demand? You mean it wasn't just a request? What's it to us if the Khrushchev regime is threatened by the Colonel and his faction?
If supporting the current regime helps us avoid a nuclear exchange, then that's what we'll do.
And what are the CIA's demands?
Our priorities are the rescue of Sokolov and the destruction of the Shagohod.
Roger that, Major Tom.
Hold on, Snake.
What now?
I'm changing my codename. It turns out Tom wasn't the most auspicious choice.
What do you mean?
Well, the truth is, when I chose my codename, I picked the wrong one.
The wrong one?
Did you ever see the movie The Great Escape? It came out last year.
I must have missed that one.
Anyway, it's based on a true story about prisoners who escaped from a POW camp in Nazi Germany. The prisoners dig 3 tunnels as part of their plan, but the Nazis find 2 of the tunnels before they're finished. The prisoners succeed in escaping by using the last remaining tunnel. The names of those 3 tunnels were Dick, Harry, and Tom.
I get it. You used the name of the tunnel they escaped in as your code name because you thought it would bring you good luck.
Yes, that's exactly right. At least, that was the plan.
But?
I
got the name wrong. The one they escaped in was Harry. Tom was one of the unlucky tunnels. It was discovered by the Nazis before it was finished. I watched the movie again just to make sure. In fact, I even ordered the actual film from the movie company.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the greatest name to use. So what should I call you?
You know, let's just use Zero, like we've been doing all along.
All right, then. Major Zero it is. We'll start over from square one.
From square zero. My frequency is 140.85. Oh, I almost forgot. Paramedic is with us again on this mission.
Is this her last chance, too?
If we fail, she'll have her medical license revoked. It's more or less the same kind of fate. Her frequency is the same as during the Virtuous mission, 145.73. She'll be recording your mission data as well, just like the last time. That frequency is also the same, 140.96. And there's one more person on your support team. His name is Mr. Sigint. He's an expert on the latest in weapons and equipment technology. You'll be going up against some of the world's most advanced weaponry when you infiltrate the research facility.
Ah bah carrément, oui.
If you have any questions, just ask him. His frequency is 148.41.
Mr. Sigint. Got it.
Adam, your KGB contact, is waiting for you at the abandoned factory up ahead.
The same factory Sokolov was being held in last week.
Yes, meet up with Adam first. He's cleared the way for you to rescue Sokolov.
How will I know this Adam guy when I see him?
You'll know once you reach the factory. The whole area has been polluted by the fallout from that nuclear blast. No one else would dare come close. The password is, "Who are the Patriots?" and Lali Lule Lo.
Lali Lule Lo. Gotcha.
You've been equipped with a 45 for this mission. Be careful, it's noisy.
I thought standard Fox procedure was procure on-site weapons acquisition.
The circumstances are different this time. You're now on an official mission for the United States government. It would be necessary to make your presence known to a certain extent. To the Khrushchev regime, at the very least. But remember, this is still a sneaking mission. Snake, if you fail this mission, it will mean an all-out nuclear war. Keep that in mind and proceed with extreme caution.
Understood. Commencing Operation Snake Eater.
Allez, c'est parti. Alors j'ai pas de silencieux. Ah si, je l'ai. Super. Et donc là, on va choper la grenouille. Alors la grenouille, elle est où déjà? Je sais qu'elle est derrière une souche. Elle est là, la grenouille. Elle est ici. Coucou. Et ensuite, on descend par ici. Un cheval. Un cheval scellé en plus.
Looks like death wasn't ready for you yet.
Boss.
That arm still hurt?
What are you doing here?
Voilà. La combinaison est magnifique.
Go home. Go home. Gru and my sons are waiting up ahead. You don't have a prayer of finishing your mission. You're not even armed.
Boss.
Oh là là.
I'm not your boss anymore. There's nothing for you here. Go home. Go back to your boss. There's no need to prove that you are virtuous here. This isn't America. That should stir things up a bit. You'd better hurry. The border is 60 miles south of here. You ought to be able to run that far.
Ooh.
Why'd you defect?
I didn't. I'm loyal to the end, to my purpose. What about you, Jack? What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings?
Ah, ça.
You don't know the truth yet. But sooner or later you'll have to choose. I don't expect you to forgive me. But you can't defeat me either. You know me too well. Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long.
Oh!
If we meet again, I'll kill you. Now, go home.
On vient de se prendre une raclée. Un petit garçon, voilà ce qu'on était.
This is Snake. Major Zero.
I read you, Snake.
I was ambushed by the boss.
You were what?
The drone's been shot to hell. It's up in flames.
That's not good. Enemy scouts are going to come looking for you.
Yeah, I know. But what was the boss doing here in the first place? There's got to be a leak somewhere.
No, that's impossible. The man the boss is working with, Volgin, isn't exactly on speaking terms with Khrushchev.
I lost my gun. The boss destroyed it.
Snake, I know how you're feeling. It's hard for me to believe, too, that a legendary hero like the boss would go over to the Russians. That she'd double-cross us like this. But that's how it is, and if you don't accept it, you'll never be able to beat her.
That's not the problem. In terms of sheer technique, I'll never be able to beat her. I know that all too well.
You've got to do it, Snake. She's your enemy and your objective.
Enemy? We were together for 10 years, and now you tell me she's my enemy?
Enough. Hurry to the factory where Adam is waiting. Scouts have probably already been sent out to investigate the explosion. You've lost your weapon, right? That means you've got no chance of winning.
Alors quand il a dit qu'ils étaient ensemble pendant plus de 10 ans, c'est sur le champ de bataille. Hein. Ils étaient pas... C'était pas une relation amoureuse. Hein. Quoique, ça peut s'apparenter. Alors là, je vais me camoufler directement parce que je sais ce qui arrive. Donc on va se mettre en noir. Voilà. Et là, on va plus bouger.
What's this?
Je rappelle que là, on n'a plus d'armes. Hein.
This is HQ.
Patrol here. We have evidence of an enemy intruder. Commence alert formation.
Acknowledged. Sending reinforcements. Use extra.
Alors, pas de mouvement brusque. Voilà. Là, faut faire attention parce qu'on a un serpent venimeux par ici, là. Il peut nous attaquer à tout moment. Ah, vous l'entendez, hein, c'est lui, hein. On va faire attention, on en a un qui est au bout là-bas. Donc on va essayer de ramper au plus vite pour éviter qu'il nous voit. Allez, 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 voilà, nickel. Allez, notre indice de camouflage est monté à 95. Hein. Et là, il redescend à 55. Bon. Alors là, on va se changer par contre. On va se mettre en feuille avec le visage forêt. Voilà, on va rester là. Le but c'est de voir ce qui nous entoure. Hein. Ce qu'il faut, on peut pas traverser le pont actuellement. Hein. Faut attendre que la prudence se barre. Voilà. Donc là on devrait avoir un...
Patrol here. The situation is normal.
Understood. Resume your patrol.
Voilà. Donc là c'est bon. Donc maintenant on va pouvoir s'occuper de lui là, mais à main nue. Voilà, fait dodo. Parfait. Alors, on va remonter parce que c'est pas là où je voulais descendre. C'est ici. Voilà. Oh putain, je l'ai raté. Fais chier. Fais chier. Ah, bon, moi j'ai plus l'état de prudence, donc ça va. Oh putain de merde. Ah, je suis désolé, ça m'a troublé le fait que... Voilà, et normalement ici... Et pourquoi ça n'a pas marché la première fois? Bref, c'est pas grave. Ah, uniforme goutte d'eau, ça c'est important. On va revenir ici parce qu'on a besoin de remonter, voilà. Et on a besoin de se caler contre le mur. Parce qu'on a un qui est juste là, vous voyez, dans le fond là. Donc là, on va se mettre en pierre. Il y a un truc normalement qui est... Voilà, rayure de... tigre du... Non, DPM. Et ça n'a pas d'importance. Ah, il va arriver de toute façon. Alors quand vous l'approchez un ennemi discrètement, je vous conseille d'utiliser le mode track justement, hein, d'appuyer sur les flèches directionnelles. Parce que même en marchant, vous faites du bruit, alors qu'en en mode track, vous n'en faites pas justement, parce qu'il marche tellement lentement que... on va se reculer un peu. Voilà. Donc là en fait, vous utilisez le mode track. Ensuite, vous faites du CQC. Voilà, nickel. Et là, c'est bon. Alors, je vais devancer un peu le truc. Je vais me mettre en carré. Non, en écorce d'arbre. Et en éclat. Vous allez comprendre pourquoi. Voilà, il y a plein de petites choses à récupérer. Alors, c'est pas ici, c'est de l'autre côté. Voilà, c'est là. Et derrière ça, là, normalement, vous devez avoir voilà, une grenade fumigène. On devrait avoir une boîte en carton aussi, il me semble. Mais je sais plus trop où c'est. Ah, c'est là-haut. Voilà. Alors, je vais récupérer le truc avant. Parce que là aussi, on a un visage aussi à récupérer, une peinture de visage. Je crois que c'est le visage tête de mort, si mes souvenirs sont bons, mais normalement, ils sont bons. Visage zombie. Ouais, c'est ça. Visage zombie. Mais bon, je l'appelle tête de mort parce que regardez, quand je le mets, je vais vous montrer, hein, tout simplement. Voilà. Alors, certains l'appelleront Ghost, hein, en référence à Call of Duty, mais non, 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 il a rien à voir avec ça. Alors, là, je vais faire ça. Je vais ouvrir le casier parce qu'il y a des trucs à récupérer ici. Voilà, les lunettes thermiques. Et ici, voilà, on va péter la fenêtre. Ça, c'est très important, hein, de faire le setup comme ça. Et je crois qu'ici, on a une batterie, non? Il me semble. Ou c'est après? Je sais plus. Bon. Ah, juste, je me suis gouré de boutons. J'ai tellement l'habitude que ce soit rond pour faire les actions.
Adam is a spy sent by the KGB to infiltrate Volgin's ranks. You'll need to be extremely careful in how you approach him.
Obviously. He can't let Volgin know he's meeting me.
That's
Oh,
right.
putain.
Adam won't show up if you're being pursued by the enemy. Before you go to rendezvous with Adam, make sure you haven't been seen by the enemy. Meet
Non,
up
c'est
with
bon.
him in normal phase. Got it?
C'est bon pour moi. Non, c'est le visage que je voulais. Éclat, voilà. Il n'y a rien à ouvrir là? Non, on peut pas.
Sorry I'm late.
Cut the engine. They'll hear us.
Are you the agent they sent?
Are you Adam? I thought you were supposed to be a man.
Adam couldn't make it.
All right, say the password. Who are the Patriots?
Uh-huh.
Who are the Patriots? Answer me! Trapped.
Oh shit. Sympathique.
There is your answer. The name's Eva.
Ah ouais.
This wasn't part of the plan. What happened to Adam?
What's your code name?
It's Snake.
Snake, huh?
Naked
well,
Snake.
I'm Eva. Are you here to tempt me?
What happened to Adam?
Colonel Volgan is a very suspicious man. He decided Adam wasn't the right person for this mission.
And you were?
Yes.
Why?
Because I can do things he can't.
Oh là là.
I heard you used to be a codebreaker for the NSA.
I was. 4 years ago, I defected to the Soviet Union with Adam.
Mauser military. The broom handle.
It packs quite a punch. Nice to have when you're on a bike.
You held it sideways and used the muzzle jump to create a horizontal sweep. That was impressive.
Bet you've never seen that technique in the West.
It's imitation, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a Chinese Type 17 pistol. Around here, even that's hard to come by.
Le mec, il te sort l'historique de toutes les armes, il sait reconnaître une imitation du vrai.
The one I've got for you is American made.
.45, huh? Incredible.
Do you like it?
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized.
Ah bah ça va, tu vas pas nous le vendre non plus.
Where'd you get something like this?
I grabbed it from a Western munitions armory. It probably used to belong to one of your officers, and there are more where that came from. You had this with you, didn't you? Better take this too.
What's that?
A disguise to make you look like a scientist.
A disguise?
Yes. You're here to rescue Sokolov, right?
Sokolov's still safe then?
Yes.
Right.
He's being forced to continue his work on the Shagohod.
Where?
At the lab. They've got a whole army of scientists there developing new weapons. Security is tight, but if you disguise yourself as a scientist, you might be able to sneak in.
Huh.
Can we get Sokolov out of there?
We'll see, won't we?
Tell me how to get to the lab.
The safest way in is from the rear. First, you'll need to head north through the jungle. You'll come to a heliport used for shipping materials. Pass the heliport and continue north, and there will be a large crevice. Descend into that area, and you'll reach a cave. Move through the cave, and you will arrive at a mangrove swamp. After the swamp, there'll be a warehouse. Make your way through the warehouse, and you'll come out just south of the lab.
Got it.
And just what are you doing there?
In close-range combat, a knife can sometimes be more useful than a gun. By doing this, I'll be able to hold a knife at the same time and still keep the gun steady. That way, I can instantly switch between a gun battle and a knife fight.
Eh oui.
Right, let's get going.
Wait a minute.
What now?
You must be tired. Why don't you take a little rest?
I'll be fine.
You'll never make it in your condition. It's a jungle out there. There's still an hour before dawn. It's dangerous to be out in the jungle at night without a guide.
What about you?
I have to get back. I can't be gone for too long. They'll start to suspect something. Don't worry. I'll keep you updated over the radio.
That's it?
My orders are to provide you with information. Nothing more.
Bah bien.
You look disappointed. All right then. I'll do something special for you. I'll stand watch until dawn. Now be a good boy and lie down. What's the matter?
I don't know you well enough to trust you.
How well do you have to know me to trust me?
Oh putain.
I don't know if I can trust anybody.
Gonna get that?
She's right, Snake. You should get some sleep. Although in your condition, you really ought to be back in the ICU. Whenever you save the game and quit, you'll go to sleep. Sleeping allows you to gain back stamina naturally. Depending on how long you sleep, you may also recover naturally from sickness and injury. When you're tired or hurt, the best thing to do is just get some sleep. So do yourself a favor and take a nap. Doctor's orders, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Bon ben mes amis, c'est ici qu'on va se quitter. Moi je vous souhaite une très bonne soirée et je vous dis à la prochaine pour la reprise du live sur MGS3 et sachez que là d'ici peu il va y avoir les autres vidéos de MGS2 que j'ai déjà terminé. Donc ne vous inquiétez pas, ça va arriver, je suis en train de les monter, je suis en train de finaliser. Donc voilà, et je vous dis à bientôt pour le live. Ciao ciao.